So here's the mayor of Aurora talking about the Tren de Aragua, this gang, this videotape of this gang taking over apartment buildings in Aurora. This is the mayor. He's speaking.
When you have a policy, in federal policy, somebody can walk across the border illegally, get arrested, declare political asylum, get humanitarian parole, and released in the country pending their court date, which could be a long ways out. Yeah. And then to make matters worse, the problem actually goes beyond this gang problem, because desperate people do desperate things, and these migrants have 6 months before they can apply for a work permit.
Right.
So the mayor just said that the illegal immigrants come over here and they get arrested, and then they're released while they pinned for their asylum. So they're applying for asylum and they're staying in the country, and then they have to wait 6 months before they could get a work visa. So for 6 months they can't even get a job. So he was saying it's the federal policies.
Violence in the Denver metro area.
Obviously, that video was not taking place in Denver, and we are going to do everything we can to make sure it doesn't ever.
In a statement, Denver police.
So there you go, the Tren de Aragua. This was Aurora, it wasn't Denver. Here is Jared Polis. He's not actually talking about the thing.
From the 1800s to single-handedly ban abortion in all 50 states, even putting doctors in jail. Page 486 puts limits on contraception.
He's not talking about the immigration. He hasn't mentioned the thing at all. He hasn't given a statement whatsoever on X or anywhere. His office had said something about they'll make the resources available if it's requested.
We know we can intervene, we can, but Mayor Kaufman's really right. The risk on this is the folks most likely to be taken advantage of and abused by this are other newcomers, are Venezuelans who have arrived and are being bullied by these individuals and feel afraid to call the police or call the city. We want to make very clear, if you have the least bit of concern, call 311, call 911. We do not ask for your citizenship or your status. You're at no risk of adverse action.
We want to work to earn their trust, to have their confidence, to step forward and identify who the bad actors are.
So I think both sides are in for a new awakening. The folks that came here looking for the American dream will find it. Those folks who came here looking to cause chaos, I think, will find that this is their worst nightmare, because we're not going to tolerate that in this city.
So that's what the mayors of Aurora and Denver are saying.
Determined if the men in that video are part of the TDA gang?
That's correct.
That's correct.
I think you see that video over and over again and you feel like, oh my gosh, every newcomer to the city must be a part of Tren de Aragua and I should report them or call 911 or call 311 or, heaven forbid, take law into my own hands. That is not needed in any way. We have one of the best trained police forces in the country who knows how to do strategic operations, knows how to do gang prevention. We are on this every single moment.
It's overwhelming, our 911 system, our emergency call center, and so it's actually hurting our ability to respond to crime, and so I would hope people would not do that. I think we're in some sort of environment of hysteria right now over this. It's a real issue. It's being dealt with. It's isolated.
Some of your fellow Republicans...
So they just said the opposite there. The Denver mayor said call 911, call 311, and then they would take care of it. But the mayor of Aurora said, do not call 911 because they're overwhelmed. They got too many phone calls. Do not call 911, says Aurora. And then the Denver mayor says do call 911, 311, because he doesn't want citizens to take matters into their own hands. So what does the city of Aurora's mayor think he's doing? Don't call 911, so is he trying to get the citizens to take this shit into their own hands? It doesn't make any sense. Here's Kamala saying that she is in favor of the border bill. There is two border bills, the bipartisan border bill of 2023, and then there's the border bill of 2024. So there's two different border bills, and she's saying that she supported something.
I support, and Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border, and because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, he told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. A border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part because they knew they were working around the clock and 1,500 more agents would help them. That bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and the pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again? I just want to
Not
ask
only
about...
push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
So there you go. She's saying that she would pass stronger immigration reforms. So this is a big thing. It is all politics. And so I'm going to break down the border bills here in a second. But just, you heard what they said. Kamala will sign a border bill. They will sign a border bill. There's a bipartisan one of 2023, and then there's a recent one. I'm going to talk about the recent one first, and then I'll talk about the other one. So the recent one that just came out, there's 5 major points. There's 5 major points. So, well, first I'll mention so the border bill says that if the DHC, or the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, if it encounters 4,000 illegal immigrants, non-Americans, within a week, a 7-day period, within 100 miles from the southwest land border, the Mexican-American border, then DHS can arrest them with emergency powers. So if 4,000 illegal immigrants, non-Americans, come within a week, within a 7-day period, then they're going to use emergency powers, and it would expire after 3 years, and it can be modified by the president under some circumstances. But this was to make sure that they could crack down on 4,000. That's a lot, right? 4,000 illegal immigrants, and then that's emergency powers. Then the other thing it was going to do, there's 5 points. Number 2, establish an expedited process that authorizes the Department of Homeland Security asylum officers to adjudicate certain asylum claims, such as a timeline, and limits reviews of denied claims. And so it's having an expedited process for the asylum officers. There's a time limit, limits the reviews of the denied claims. You don't have 20 different reviews, and there's a time limit, so within a month, 3 months, something. Then the provisional non-custodial removal proceedings impose certain target timelines for determining asylum claims and limit review of denied claims. Number 3, they're going to establish a stricter threshold. I don't know exactly what stricter threshold they're talking about or what that means, for individuals to remain in the United States pending adjudication of an asylum petition. So I don't know what they're trying to say, but they're going to put them in jails. They're not going to let them live in tent cities. They're going to put them stay in the jails or something. The Border Act of 2024, this is the Border Act of 2024. It extends and establishes immigration pathways for Afghan citizens. So for Afghan citizens who have already been admitted into America, they could apply for conditional permanent status, and then they would expand the eligibility of Afghan citizens who were injured when they supported America's mission in Afghanistan. So they were an ally, they supported America. They are in danger right now in Afghanistan under the Taliban. And so that's kind of a nice thing, right? And then the bill also increases base pay for asylum officers and grants the Department of Homeland Security temporary direct hire authority to hire personnel to implement the bill. So they're going to hire more border agents, more border patrol, and they're going to increase the pay for the asylum officers. So there is a lot of stronger border security things there, right? Emergency powers, if you got 4,000 illegal immigrants who came over within a week, the expedited process for asylum officers. So have a timeline, limit the review of the denied claims, so make it harder for people to apply for asylum and to wait around, and to establish a stricter threshold for individuals who are remaining on asylum petitions, and then also the Afghan citizens thing. So that was going to get rejected by a procedural vote, 43 to 50. So it barely, by 7 votes, it didn't pass. But this border bill of 2024 would have overhauled immigration law for the first time in 30 years. And then Joe Biden wrote in a statement that the Republicans had put partisan politics ahead of our country's national security. And like she said, Donald Trump had said to kill the bill, and so the fucking Republicans killed the bill. It was actually written by 2 Republicans, and then they killed their own damn bill. Congressional Republicans don't care about securing the border or fixing America's broken immigration system. And if they did, they would have voted for the toughest border enforcement in history. And Cory Booker, the New Jersey senator, had actually voted no because he said it was too restrictive. So it was too harsh, too strong. So you had the Tren de Aragua. the Tren de Aragua there, and you have the mayor of Aurora saying that it's a federal issue, it's a federal process, it's all about this. But you had a border bill. You had the 2024 Border Act, the Border Act of 2024. Now, there was a bipartisan border bill from last year, but they tied it with a whole bunch of different numbers. But, so the bipartisan border bill of 2023, it was $118 billion. So it was like a shit ton of money, $118 billion. Now, money was going to go for the Gulf of Eden and the Red Sea. It was going to go to Ukraine and Israel, but also Palestinian humanitarian aid. $10 billion would have gone to Palestine. And then there was 50,000 new visas, and they weren't going to grant amnesty for any of the 11.4 million illegal immigrants, non-Americans here in this country already, and a border wall. They were going to build a $650 million. They had allocated $650 million for a border wall. And so this 2023 bipartisan border bill was put up there. It was shut down, right? So it's the president, the Democrats, and the Republicans shut it down. This is politics. They are playing politics because they want to make it seem like the Democrats are weak on the border, and they think that the president is going to get blamed for all the immigration, but the Republicans are the ones that fucked over the 2023 border bill and then the 2024 border bill. And I guess Cory Booker had voted against it because it was too restrictive. But the Republicans, the necessary 7 votes, all you needed was 7 more votes. If they would have got their 7 more votes, or if they would have changed 4 different minds and they would have voted yes on it. So she said she would sign it. She would have got the thing to her desk and that she would sign not the, not the border wall one, but the asylum one. Make it harder to apply for asylum, to stick around for asylum, because you heard what the the Aurora Mayor said, that they come here, they commit a crime, they go to jail, then they apply for asylum, and then they get bailed out, and then for 6 months they have to wait for a work visa. So while they're waiting for the asylum claims, they're just going around committing a whole bunch of crimes. And so you want the Tren de Aragua situation to go away? I also would recommend not only passing either one of those bills would have been okay with me. I don't like the money going to Israel, and it's $118 billion, and it was just basically $90 billion was going to all this other stuff. But they tried. That was last year. This new one, I think, is a lot better. But either one of them would have worked. Both of these are Democrats put them forward. Republicans are saying, let them all come in. Who gives a shit? So their rhetoric is they want to stop immigration. But when it comes to a border wall, when it comes to stronger immigration policies, the Democrats are for stronger immigration policies. Also, Joe Biden is the deporter-in-chief. Joe Biden has been deporting, more than all the previous presidents. So Obama was a deporter-in-chief. Biden's a deporter-in-chief. Strong borders. These are right-wingers anyway, so this doesn't surprise me at all. But some people might not know that. Now, I would also suggest court reform and stronger borders. Let's see, border wall. The $650 million for a border wall, I don't even know why Republicans would have been against their border wall. You would have got your fucking border wall. So, stronger borders, court reform, take the complaints of citizens seriously, uphold Section 6 of Colorado's Constitution, says if a citizen comes in, you heard what the mayor of Aurora said. The mayor of Aurora says, don't call 911. No, you want the citizens to call 911. You're overloading them. Well, you need more 911 call people. Okay? And then executive branches need to be stronger. I want to see the mayors actually go into these dangerous neighborhoods. Put your bulletproof vest on, give them a gun. But I want to see these mayors, and I want to see the governors and the president, if he's able to do it, because they're the executive branch. And the executive branch is supposed to be responsible for public security when it comes to the Baron de Montesquieu, if you know anything about the 3 branches of government. A lot of times the cops arrest people, and then the judicial branch just covers their shit up, and the citizens aren't being taken serious. But if a lawyer or a cop says, hey, that person did something, then the judicial branch goes on with it. Well, the cops work for the executive branch. So the executive branches need to be stronger because the cops need to know that they work for the executive branch. The cops work for the mayors. The cops work for the governors. The cops work for the president. They also need to take the complaints of citizens serious, uphold Section 6 of Colorado's Constitution, and court reform. Judge elections, they need to be fair and balanced. Right now, in Colorado, you got these bullshit retention elections. You don't need retention elections because it's just saying, do you want to judge or don't you? So it's just yes or no. Do you want this guy who's been a judge for the last 6 years to continue being the judge? It's not a real election where you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 people running for the position and they have to campaign and say why they're going to be a good judge. Instead, it's do you want the guy or don't you? Yes or no. Do you want Joe Bob, Joe Schmo Bob? Do you want Joe Schmo to stay in there? Fuck those retention elections. Take the complaints of citizens seriously. Executive branches need to buck up, buttercup, and then we need stronger borders. Pass the 2024 Border Act. What's the problem? The Republicans write the fucking Border Act, and then they go ahead and vote against their own damn bill.